Hi everyone, Michelle here from the Creative Cove, and thanks for joining me on my channel today. Thought I would show you this little booklet that I made a long time ago. This is probably the first journal that I made, and it's actually more like a lap book. Sorry about my hands. I guess I could have washed them. I've been busy painting and working in the studio today. So I came across this little book. I forgot all about it. It's been a little while since I've used it, and I built it to contain scraps for my watercoloring. I used to love to sit in the garden and do little studies. So this was the first book that I built, so I'd learned a lot. I can see now that washi tape is a bad decision to use on covers. Definitely needs some glue reinforcement here. As you can see, it's peeling up. But I found this piece of paper, I think it's Stamperia. I hope I got that right because I did use it a long time ago, but I just fell in love with the fox and I thought it has to go on a cover of some book for me. So I did this, and I think I used a couple of different papers in this, but you'll have to forgive me, I can't remember what collection they're from. So the book opens up into a couple of different sections, and then opens up again, and then opens up again. So I can't get it all in the camera, so I thought I'll just show you a little bit at a time. And then I thought maybe if we have time, we'll do a quick little water study. I'm in no rush today, so the video might be a little longer than usual. You can fast forward, and if you're not interested in this part. But I just wanted to show you the little lap book and how I keep my little watercolor testers here that I play with. Here's a watercolor sample that I glued down, more of that beautiful paper collection. Again, the washi tape, I would definitely not use that again on edges. So we'll go to this side, and this side opens up like this. Move that out of the way, and then opens up again. So there's a little pocket here, and there's two little pockets in here. And then it opens up to this kind of plastic pocket where I keep little bits and pieces of scrap watercolor paper, because watercolor paper can be quite expensive. So it's nice to have some little scraps, so some drawings that didn't work out. And then I just cut them up and use the other side. Here's a couple of watercolors that I was just playing with the one day. So I keep those all in here. A little notepad, and then here is my watercolors. So I bought this little Winsor & Newton travel pack, and it's awesome. It's got a nice selection of colors in there. I use it all the time, and I took the box that I bought it in. It came in a little box. I wrapped that in paper and I glued it to the booklet. So now I have a space just to keep my watercolors with me, and then I just tuck some brushes in and a pencil, and I just clip those on here, and I'm good to go. I can take it wherever I want, and I've got everything I need except a little cup of water. So on this side, oh, there's a little pocket here too. I can't even remember what I've built. It's been so long. Cellophane. And then on this side, it opens up again two ways. So I'll open it all the way up. So here's some little slider pockets. And there's a big pocket here, again, for more scraps and tags. Sometimes I just keep the tags in from other watercolor collections, just for inspiration on color blending. So that's always handy to have with you. Here's another one of those plastic envelopes that holds a bunch of scraps. So I'm gonna keep one of these out. I'll use that. So I'll put that back in. And then there's a pocket over here. Don't know if I have anything in it. I haven't looked at this booklet in quite some time. So that's empty. There's a little pocket to hold some more treasures. So sometimes, you might have a flower that you want to preserve in there. Maybe a feather that you find. Here's a little notebook. And you can take that with you, and it just slides into this little slot here. And then in the middle is just a clip. I left this part blank so that I can stick my little doodles to it when I'm practicing. So They're a good place to keep all your little collections of goodies all in one place. So lap books can be a lot of fun to build. And I can't remember, I think this is an old book. If I remember correctly, 2 old books. So I took an original book here, and then I took two other edges of another book and just kind of glued them and reinforced them all together. So there's lots of videos on how to do that. I haven't actually done a video on a lap book yet, because this was my first one, and you can see that I had a lot to learn. I never did a closure for it either. So, but what's nice about it is you can design it to hold whatever it is you want. Pressed flowers, in this case, watercolor, anything. So I'd encourage you to build one if you're interested. So I'm just gonna grab my watercolors and move this out the way. And we'll do a little watercolor sketch today. Just something fun, relaxing. I'm not a watercolor artist. I learn as I go. I don't color blend properly. I learn a lot every time I do dip into the paint, but I am very much learning. I don't usually post watercolor videos because I really can't teach you too much about it, because I'm not an expert, but I thought we can just putter away today and play with some watercolor. So I'm gonna do, I think, some sort of little cosmos here. I'm gonna do, I've shown you how to draw flowers in a couple of other videos, but if you wanted to draw along with me, I'm just using my standard HB pencil, mechanical pencil, because that seems to be my go-to. And I'm just gonna do some petals. I should be drawing a little bit lighter, but I want to make sure you can see it. Maybe I'll zoom you in just a little bit. There we go. And I'm just going to wiggle some lines out here. I'm not going to put too much effort into it because I'm just playing. So I'm just going to maybe give the flower a little bit of character there. And then maybe do another one coming up here. This one can be facing away from me a little bit more. There's the center. And again, just having fun, scribbling some lines, just relaxing, not worried about making a masterpiece. And maybe a bud coming out here. There we go. I think that's good, just to play. So I've got some really junky little brushes here. Again, they're just dollar store brushes. They're not expensive watercolor brushes. They're just, you can see how frayed this one is. They're pretty rough, actually. They're just the first ones I grabbed, and a little container of water. Did I show you the brushes, or was I out of there? Because the camera's pretty low, so can't tell. All right, so just junky brushes. So I'm gonna dip in some water, and I think I'll use this pretty pink color. I don't even know the names of these colors. I apologize, because like I said, not an expert, but I'm just gonna saturate the petals here, play with the paint. So this is a pretty heavy watercolor paper, so it doesn't really need to be taped down for a little project like this. But if you're going to use a thinner watercolor paper or do a bit of a bigger project, then I would probably tape the paper down to a board of some kind, because the water tends to make the paper curve and roll up. And it's not quite as easy to paint on. All right, so throw in some color. I think I'll work a little wet in wet and see what we get. So let's see, let's use some of this kind of caramel color with this red. Again, just playing here. Pick some of that up and maybe dab some of that in, see if we like that. See how it dries. And that's what I kind of like about watercolor, that's why it's relaxing to me, because you just play with it and it's kind of like a little surprise. You never know what you're going to get in the end. I'll put a little bit more of this red brighten it up a bit. Put that maybe in here as well. See, I'm just dabbing and playing, and you can absorb some of the color with your paper towel as well, so we could try that. See if we like that. And just kind of pull some off. I feel it's getting a little heavy. It creates more. I love these little watermarks. I like that rustic look. And I'm sure there's watercolor artists out there who love and hate them as well. They add that element of watercolor, which is the whole point, I guess. Let's do maybe some yellow. Yellow's pretty dirty here. Just having fun. I don't even know what color the center of this flower would actually be. Maybe yellow, maybe not. I think I'll do a little bit on the stem. Maybe give this a stem down here too. Forgot to draw that. All right, maybe a little yellow in the petals. Go back to this bigger one because it absorbs a little bit more water. I'm not even painting in the whole section here and just having fun dipping the paint in. So if you're into trying watercolor, I would go with an affordable paint. You don't have to do the Winsor & Newton, but you could get like an affordable paint palette, and you can invest a little bit more in the paper at first, would be my recommendation. Is you definitely want to go with a good quality paper and spend the money on the paints and the brushes after. I'm just gonna have some fun here with some petals. I'm gonna stay out of that wet stuff right now. I can't remember what Cosmos petals look like. I mean leaves. I think they're pretty kind of wispy looking. And let's do some green. Nice and casual. I'm so itching for spring. I think that's why I've kind of got rediscovered this book and is like, oh, I really want spring. I just need it so bad. Let's add a little bit of blue to that green so it goes a little bit darker. Just for a little variety here. There's some really good watercolor YouTube videos on real serious technique. This is more just casual, totally casual. Oh, I think what I'll do is maybe redefine it a little bit with the pencil. I really like the look of the pencil showing through the watercolor. You're gonna find too, the more you play with different mediums, the more of the specific look that you like. You know, maybe like nice cream crisp lines. Maybe you don't like these watercolor marks. Everybody's got their own little unique thing that they like. I'm just gonna darken the center of the flower a little bit. Use some brown here. Throw it in that orange. I'm just gonna give it a little bit of, just a little texture. Nothing too serious, because I'll use my pencil for the rest. I'm just gonna scribble in there. So this, you can tell, it's not serious watercolor art, it's just for fun. I think I might darken up that red a little, just to give it a little bit of a pop with my rough brush. That is a bad brush. But I find it the more brushes you keep with different edges on them, the different textures you'll get. So don't throw out your old rough looking brushes, because every brush will give you a different stroke and different texture on it. So I have a pile of what most people would consider discarded brushes, but they're actually my favorite to use because they give such unique marks. So let's go into maybe a little bit more of this darker green. There we go. Darken some of these spots up. Like, look at that brush. It's rough. Just a little bit of dark green in here. There, nice and soft. There. So I think I'll cut it up a little bit. Just want to cut that rough edge off. And so this is just something fun and relaxing. I would stick it back in my book. But I think I want to do like a little splatter on it once it's dried a bit. So I'm going to take my bigger brush here with lots of water on it, and I'm going to pick a color. So I think I'll do this green with maybe a little bit more yellow in it. And I'm hoping the flowers are dry. So adding lots of water. I'm just going to take one of my other brushes and see if we can make it splatter here. So I want the flowers dry so that the brown and the green don't mix together and make a brown. Sorry, the green and red don't mix together to make a brown. I think that's kind of cute. All right. Just put a little signature on there. And you can also put dots in with your pencil so that the background is cohesive with the drawing. You're introducing the same elements to the background as you are in the foreground. And you can even draw a little bit more. You could do little spindly things here. Just for fun. A little magical little drawing here. Something really cute just to throw in your junk journal. And you can paint those if you want to. You can go back to the pink, make sure I'm in frame, with your junky little brush here. And just add a tiny dot of paint into those. So that's a nice saturated color. There's all kinds of different techniques with watercolor. You can do wet on wet, wet on dry, all kinds of different possibilities. And the more you play with watercolor, the more you'll like it, I promise, because even though it's not a very forgiving medium, it takes a lot of practice to be able to get a specific look you're after. But I can promise that you're always going to be surprised by it. You're always going to have some fun with it. So let's see if I got my ink out here, because anybody who watches my channel knows I like to vintage up my work. I'm going to let that dry for a minute, and then maybe we'll sew some fabric around it just for fun. I want it to dry, so I'm going to put my watercolors away. Whoops. I am messy, that's for sure. I think that's obvious. Been working on a big canvas today, so I like to get my hands dirty. So I'll put my watercolors back away, so don't forget to. And that goes over here. I'll move that out of the way, and we'll have a look at some of this fabric I've got here, which I thought could be cute to sew to. Maybe something a little darker. So we could put that in the background. Let's see if this piece is big enough. Hopefully I have enough thread. I was really low on thread the other day. Yeah, getting a workout. this out the way. So while that's drying, I'm just gonna cut and rip this. Oh, I can't wait for spring. Have I said that already? I just I can't wait to see my gardens, though my house sold, so I probably won't get to see much of my gardens this year. No idea where I'm moving to. So everything's really up in the air right now. But it's an exciting time, you know, trying to figure out where to go. And we've been at this place for a number of years now, so I'm looking forward to going somewhere else, trying something different. So like my messy scraps, nothing is straight. And I kind of like that about this sort of work. So it's dry. So I'm going to do what I always do with my trusty little stamp here. Again, I like to vintage things up a lot. And you do want to make sure that this is dry when you do that, because this ink will bleed. And you don't want to get mud on your nice little sketch. And then if I can find it, here it is, I'm going to, look at the state of that. I'm going to kind of muddy it up a little bit. Let's put, just to tone down the white paper. We'll see how that reacts. Because this is watercolor paper, so you can see it has a texture to it. I'm just gonna get the corners a little. Not the whole thing, I don't want the whole thing muddy, but just a little something. There we go. That works for me. Sew that back down, put that back down, I mean, and then maybe just clean up the bottom here. And then I have some lace that I coffee dyed, which I've used in a numerous amount of videos lately because I've been right into the sewing. Let's see. So this is the fun part, just layering different colors and different scraps of fabric has been really fun for me. Just like to use them up. I'm not sure that that's going to be big enough to actually show the other fabric. No, it's not. So we'll just use these two. What else have I got? I still have some of this. I've got this gold stuff. I wonder if that would work on here. Somehow. Nope, too big. Too wide. Nope, don't like that either. I've got some of this stuff. Okay, I like that. So let's do that. Something like this on there. Okay, so let's get the sewing machine going. Move some of this out of the way. And I have just a tiny bit of thread left, so I'm really hoping that I have enough to complete this so I can show you. Make sure my sewing machine is in view. Not that you can really see, but it's kind of annoying. I've done a video and I posted it and I realized half of what I was doing was outside the camera, which is really frustrating to watch as a viewer. It's like, okay, I tuned in to watch you and I can't actually see what you're doing. So, all right, there we go. I'm just going to do a straight stitch around here and try and do as straight as I can. Oh, I'm not actually sewing. I've lost my bobbin. All right, bear with me. Maybe am I out of bobbin? Oh, I am too. Oh boy, I'm not going to have enough thread for sure. Can't believe I'm out of bobbin. Okay, well, I can't show you the sewing. That's a bummer. Because this is all the thread I have left right here. There's no way I can wind a bobbin and sew. So anyways, I think you get the idea. You can always glue it, but you're gonna sew all the way around, and then I would have sewed this piece to it. So sorry I can't complete it. But you got the idea of the cute little lap book that you can build to hold your things in, and having just some fun with some watercolors. Again, you don't have to go all out and buy expensive stuff. Just have fun with what you've got, and little sketches, and what a cute little accessory to put in a journal. And I was thinking just now too, you could sew it like this and create a little pocket here. Cut a little hole punch and you've got a little pocket. All right, sorry about the sewing, guys, but I think you can get the idea of the sewing. And if you like the video and like the ideas and like the channel, please hit subscribe and hit the like button, and we'll see you again on the next one. Take care. Bye, guys.